So how can you retire rich? Hey guys, welcome back. It's Gilman with Live Well, Live Wealthy. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can retire wealthy. And if you've seen the first video, you know that I'm not about to drop a get rich quick scheme on you. And so in today's video, we're going to be talking about the different types of retirement plans available, how to utilize each one to make sure that you're building wealth over time. So there's two main types of retirement plans. One being a 401k and the other being an IRA. And both of these have a traditional and a Roth. Starting with the 401k, that's generally with your employer. So if you work for a large corporation, chances are they offer you some sort of a defined contribution plan, also known as the 401k, which means from every paycheck you get a certain amount deducted and set towards retirement. The other type being an IRA, which anyone can go out and contribute to. So let's take an example. And for the purposes of this example, let's keep the income at $50,000 just so all the calculation will be easier to do. Now, let's say your employer offers you both the traditional 401k and the Roth 401k. If you want to contribute 10% of your income, in a traditional 401k, that 10% comes out and then you are taxed on the remaining income. So in the example of a $50,000 income, you contribute 10% of that, which is $5,000. So you are taxed on the remaining income of $45,000. In the case of a Roth 401k, you are taxed on the whole $50,000, and then from your after-tax salary, you put money into the 401k. Now there's pros and cons to both. Now with the traditional 401k, since you get a tax break now, when you retire down the line, you owe taxes on. However, with the Roth 401k, since that's an after-tax contribution, meaning you've already paid taxes on the money that you are putting in now, whatever that money grows into is your money at retirement. And an IRA works the same way, where there's two options between a traditional and a Roth. Now all of these that I just described are retirement plans, which means you put money away throughout the course of your career to have when you retire and no longer have an income to support you. Now let's take a look at the pros and cons of a 401k and an IRA. To start with an IRA, the maximum amount you can put in a Roth IRA in 2020 is $6,000 or $7,000 if you're above the age of 50. The maximum amount you could put in a 401k is $19,500 and an additional $6,500 if you're above the age of 50. So as you can see, 401k allows you to put more money in. Another advantage of the 401k is that a lot of employers offer matching. For example, if you put 5% of your income into a 401k through your employer, they'll match that. They'll put 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on who your employer is. And so it's essentially like getting free money on top of your salary. So I would recommend that you check out if your employer offers a 401k, what kind of matching they have, and make sure to fully utilize any available. On the other hand, with a Roth IRA, you don't need to be employer sponsored, which means anyone can go out and open an account and contribute up to $6,000 a year and have that money grow over time. The downside with a Roth IRA though is that if you make above $124,000, then it slowly phases out. If you make under $124,000, then you can contribute the full $6,000. Another benefit of the Roth IRA is that you get more control over where your money goes. So you can go to any brokerage account like Charles Schwab, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade. There's various options out there. I'm not going to tell you which one to go to. That's your choice on what you feel comfortable with. But you can go and you can open, just like you can open a brokerage account and buy stocks, you can open a Roth IRA account or a traditional IRA account and contribute money into your IRA account and have more control there. With a 401k, a lot of the times you're kind of stuck with what plans your employer has set. So maybe you have 6 options to choose from and you have to choose between those 6 options. Whereas with an IRA, the options are pretty much unlimited on where you put your money. So now that you know a little bit about the 401k and the IRA, the next question becomes, well, how much money should you put away? Experts recommend 15 to 20% of your annual income going into retirement plans, and it's really, really important that we start early. So an example, let's say you are 25 years old, you've just graduated college, and you're about to start your first job. At the age of 25, you decide to contribute into your 401k account through your employer. you contribute from the ages of 25 to 35. So essentially you're contributing 10% of your $50,000 income, so you're contributing $5,000 a year. And just to keep this example simple, we're going to assume you make $50,000 for the next 10 years and you get no raises and you're always putting in 10%. So if you put in $5,000 for 10 years, meaning you put $50,000. Now, your friend over here also just graduated college, also is about to start their first job, but they go, you know, I've been in college for too long and I've been driving a beater around, let me go buy a new car, let me live in a nicer place, and they don't worry about putting that money away. So let's say they start at the age of 35. Now you've started at 25, ended at 35, they start at 35, and let's say both of your goal retirement age is 65. So they start at 35, they're still making $50,000 for the next 30 years, putting $5,000 away, right? So you've put in $5,000 away a year for 10 years, they're putting $5,000 away a year for 30 years. Difference being they're starting at the age of 35 to 65 and you've started at 25 and ended it at 35. Your $50,000 contribution over those 10 years is going to be greater than your friend's contribution of $150,000 when you both reach retirement at 65. And that's because your money has so many more years initially to compound. So now that we know all that, let me give you a little motivation on how easy it is to retire a millionaire if you start at a young age. So let's say, you know, you've got your $50,000 job at the age of 25 and you're contributing 10% of your income. Now, if you contribute 10% of your income from the ages of 25 to 65, let's say 65 is when you want to retire, so you contribute for 40 years. Let's say your money grows at a steady 8%, which the market sometimes beats 8%, the market sometimes doesn't meet 8%, but I think 8% is pretty conservative. Realistically, your money would grow at a slightly higher rate than 8%, but let's use 8% for this example. So you start at 25 with an income of 50,000, putting 10% of your income away. Now, recommended is 15 to 20, but for this example, we're just going to use very conservative numbers. So $50,000 income, 10% of your income going into retirement, which means you're putting $5,000 a year for 40 years, right? So you start at 25, you want to retire at 65. So essentially between 25 and 65, you're putting in $200,000. But with the growth, that number becomes $1.35 million. That number, from the age of 25, you're putting $5,000 a year, growing at 8%. 40 years later, you have $1,350,000 and some change sitting in your retirement account that you can now enjoy for your retirement. So that just shows you how by putting away only $200,000 of your own money and doing so starting at an early age, you can end up making more than $1 million over the course of your working career and have a lot of money ready to go by the time you retire. We hope you learned a lot in this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment down below if there's anything you want us to discuss, or if you have any questions with anything discussed here, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. So let's aim to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.